What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the PS5 career mode. This is episode number 24. And today we're returning with the big one. It is the biggest game of the series so far as we face Manchester City in our first ever major cup final in the FA Cup final. Of course, we got here by beating Manchester United by a goal to nil in the semis. Man City beat Arsenal by 2 goals to nil in their semi-final to set up this final here at Wembley. Already our third trip to Wembley in the series so far, extraordinary. And of course, after surviving in the Premier League in our first year in the top flight as well, with a couple of games to spare, no matter what happens in this FA Cup final, it's still been a season of success. We can lose this 5-0 and I'll still call this a really successful first campaign in the top flight. So heading into the game, just real briefly, I want to show you this. Masterson, who went down the final days, out for 2 months with a broken metatarsal, means he'll be okay for the start of next season, but of course won't play today, not that he was going to anyway. And I also want to show you the difficulty and sliders pre-game as well, just because some of you guys have been asking what sliders I'm using, what difficulty I'm playing on. Now, I played the biggest of the games on ultimate difficulty, so of course we'll bump that up today. The rest of the games are on legendary, and all the sliders are default on 50 untouched. The only 2 sliders that are touched are injury, user, frequency and severity. Sorry, I should say user, injury, frequency and severity. Frequency is 80, severity is 55, and at the moment I'd say that's wielding relatively realistic injury rates and severe injuries as well. I think right now we've got a very nice sort of, yeah, I'd say right now it kind of, youth player on self, I'd say right now it's quite realistic. But yeah, I can't stand youth players wanting to turn into conscious man. It really annoys me. I wish you could just talk to them and say, just give it some time, you know. It's a bloody FA Cup final, mate. I've got bigger things on my mind right now. Anyway, let's dive into it then. And as you can tell, today's episode is going to be a full live commentary. It's a live Q&A. I get my questions from Twitter. My word, this does feel like an old doc say, doesn't it? I get my questions from Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at DocLanders. I've said so many times before, honestly. I'm going to bump the halfling up to 6 minutes today as well. I've said it so many times before, honestly, you know, seriously, follow me on Twitter is just definitely something I recommend. I do not tweet 1,000 times a day and clog up your feed. I really don't. I'm quite active on there, and again, it's a great way to interact with me and keep up to date with the save as well, and get involved too in episodes like this. So yeah, heading into the game, Heaton is of course our goalkeeper, so I'll pop him in. But other than that, oh, Metcha can't play because of hashtag realism. So the question is, who starts up top? Is it going to be Brian Brobby or Charlie Kelman? PG-13, first start for the club? I don't think so. But Kelman or Brobby? I think Brobby, right? Brobby's found a much better goal-to-game ratio this year. Let's go with the young Dutch striker. Other than that, though, I'm okay with a lineup. Do I put Adel Tarat in? I'll take a Baker out for the fitness. Do I put Tarat in or start Ilias? Do we go with the FA Cup semi-final hero, or do we start with the young man? I think we'll have Ilias on the bench and bring him on for energy if need be. Tarat's going to get the start. Other than that, I'm okay with this lineup. So yeah, let's dive into it. An FA Cup final, let's do it. So yeah, definitely follow me on Twitter if you don't already, guys. Highly recommend it. Great way to keep up to date with me and the save as well. So thank you to everyone that has asked me questions. I'll try and get around to as many as possible. But as I always say, it's hard to answer them all because I waffle on like a politician. Ha ha ha. And Jesus. I'm not known for my humour. And yeah, there's some decent questions. You guys love football, don't you? And yeah, I'll try and answer as many as possible in today's episode. Real briefly though, I do want to say thank you for all the support on the series so far, man. I mean, it's been incredible. It really, really has been, you know. I think last year when I started doing YouTube properly again after I took a hiatus, I was kind of nervous to come back and do videos like these, because obviously with current trends on YouTube, things are totally different to how they used to be. But the way this series has been received, just like my Sheffield United save from last year as well, has been fantastic. So I want to start the episode off by saying thank you so much for all the support. It really does mean a lot, and to be able to do videos, or I should say make videos like this again, feels fantastic. And yeah, thank you for your support, and I can't believe we're through 2 seasons in 24 episodes as well. That's very quick. That's a very quick pace for me. and it feels really good that we're getting through this quite quickly and quicker than normal as well. Normally I do 24 episode seasons, not 2 seasons, but instead we're getting through things really quickly, and I love how much you guys have taken to the realism aspect of this save as well. You know, as I said before, realism in FIFA career mode is practically impossible due to bizarre AI transfers and weird forms at times, but you guys have really taken to how I'm doing this series as realistically as possible, and that means a lot as well. It is hard to maintain realism, of course, but, you know, to do little things, like even just, you know, for this game here, not playing a Mecha due to the ineligibility of his loan contract, I think that is just great how you guys are really taken to this, because at times, again, career mode can become a little bit too far-fetched, and that's when some people can lose interest, but instead I'm keeping this as realistic as I can, and you guys are really taken to it as well, so thank you for that. And yeah, so let's get into the questions then, and yeah, let's dive into it for our first FA Cup final. I gotta be honest, you can probably tell by my tone, I'm very pessimistic indeed. I know we got through the Red Devils, but I don't fancy our chances here, but you never know, you never know. Come on, the R's. So first question is going to come from R. Davin, and I got to be honest here, I've got tons of questions like this one, but I'm just going to pick his to answer this question here because it's the first one that came in. And he says, when's the FM save starting and with who? Here's the answer to this, which I've said a few times before already now, both on YouTube and on Twitter as well. I don't know. I simply don't know, so I can't give you an answer to that. One thing I will say is that I've always been, oh my word, I can already tell a goal's coming early. One thing I will say is that I've always started later, and there's a reason for that. I tend to, oh, you are joking. I tend to start later when I feel comfortable and ready, when I feel like I can give it my all. I don't want to start early and not be able to commit to a good project. So I feel like the last few FM saves I've done have been absolutely incredible, and that's because I've started when I felt comfortable, you know, in my own time. You know, when I'm rushed, I don't feel like I can create a good project. FM takes such a long time to play, and I need time to prepare for it. I need time to sort of plan out what team I want to use, and you know, I can't just start just like that. You know, it takes me time. I've got other projects I need to commit to as well. So yeah, I don't know is the answer to that question. When I'm ready, I guess, but also too, I feel like I need to buy a new system to play it as well. You know, when I was doing my Norwich and then my Brescia save in last year's FM20, it just, my machine was just crashing constantly. It was constantly oh, hello. It was constantly crashing, and I've had this iMac for like 7-8 years now, and 7 to 8 years of heavy video editing and graphic work and just daily use, you know, like practically all day, well not all day, but you know, most days for like 8 to 10 hours, you know, using this, again, heavy video editing, recording, capturing, graphic work, photo work, you know, that takes a lot of toll, you know, on an outdated machine anyway. And so when the Mac was crashing so many times last year whilst I was playing FM, I realised that before I start a new FM save, I need to buy a new system. And at the moment, I'm not in a place financially where I can afford to do that. So yeah, until I'm at a stage where, firstly, I feel comfortable enough to that was going to be so nice. I didn't upload them. First of all, until I'm comfortable enough to start one, and I feel like I've got enough time to commit to playing it, because again, you need an awful lot of time to play Football Manager at the pace that I play it. And also as well, until I've got enough money to buy a new machine, I won't be starting one until those two things happen. At the moment, I don't have enough time, first and foremost. I'm not ready, I'm not comfortable, and I don't have enough money to buy a new machine yet. Hopefully in the new year things will turn around. Hopefully that clears that up. And the next question comes from Scarlett, who says, favourite player you found in your academy? I love getting this question because I can never answer it, because there's just too many to give you an answer for. Like, there's, to me, like they're all great for different reasons, you know. Of course, there are certain favourites that are elevated above the rest, such as Ryan Towler and Valente and Marcano and so on. But I mean, you know, who knows? Based on how this save has started off, even the Bull could make his way there. He's got a long way to go. Of course, it's got to be offside. Got to be offside. Absolutely no way. I'm wagging my finger right now in my room. There's no way that counts, and it doesn't. Clearly offside. But I can answer that question myself, because I love them all for different reasons. You know what it's like? It's like a parent with children. Like, you know, you can't have a favourite, it's not fair. You know, in your mind you can secretly have one, but you can't tell anyone, do you know what I mean? Most parents are like that. I mean, my mum kind of, you know, made it pretty clear that my brother is the favourite, you know. I'm just kidding, but no, seriously, like, it's like a parent with children, you know, you can have your favourite in your mind, but you can never say who it is, man. You can never say who it is, it wouldn't be fair. And right now I'm sort of penned in my half at the moment, some poor football here. Weghorst, shadow ball in the back of the net, offloads to De Bruyne, KDB. Thankfully going backwards for some strange reason as we try and clear it. And 23 minutes in, still tied at 0-0. Again, defensively we're looking okay. Tarat on the break. Oh, we're lacking some raw pace through the middle of the park. That's what I think we could do with next season. You know, someone that's direct but has a lot of pace. I've talked about the ball possibly being phased in field to play attacking midfielder. Maybe next season I might make that change and look for a new inside forward on the left. Who knows? There's Morris, pegs it back to KDB. Dragging it back. Oh, he's found some space. Oh! Chip shots are so bloody OP this year. Hey, chip shots are so OP this year, man, aren't they? Oh, look at that, the little drag back. They happen so often when you play competitor mode in this year's FIFA, but that is just amazing. Heaton comes off his line a few yards, but oh, jeez. They are just so OP this year. But you got to tip your hat to the AI. That's when you know it's ultimate difficulty, man, because they are just so inch perfect. 1-0 Man City, KDB with a goal, and it was coming, to be fair. It was coming. The next question comes from a Man City fan. He'll be happy with that moment there. Samoza Sterling. He says, why did you stop your Fulham career mode in FIFA 19? I was just not in a place mentally where I could give a good project anymore. And oh, his Dickie's still hobbling. He's just got out to fitness as well. I was just not in a place mentally where I could you know, commit to making a good series. And I don't know whether it comes across. I certainly hope it does, but I don't do things half-hearted. You know, I give it my all, or I don't bother. You know, it's as simple as that. When it comes down to creating content, and I've been like this for all my years, I do as much as I can. I'm not in this for a quick buck. I've said that so many times before, and it's the truth. If I wanted to do this just to earn some money, there are so many different techniques I could use. I'll be clickbaiting and deceiving you all with titles and thumbnails and selling out like crazy. I don't do this for that. I do this because I love it. I do this because I want to create the best content I can for what is an amazing audience. Oh! First real chance. No surprise it was the bull with that direct run. Robbie shot blocked. Tarat. Brian tackled by American City, get it clear. But it's true, unless I can give the best I can do and do the best I can do, then I don't want to do it. And mentally at that point I was not in a good place. I was not doing well. And I realised at that point that I was sort of coming towards the end of my journey doing this, if you will, and that's why I did take that hiatus last year. But now I'm back doing this permanently. I hope that I never have to stop a series midway through again. But also because I wasn't really enjoying that save as well, to be honest. As Sterling is through, and not again. Oh, Heaton this time gets it right, and Rob gets it away, but only temporarily. Can't go 2 goals down for the break. That would be disastrous. Careful, careful, careful. Oh my word, the drag backs on competitor mode, man. Seriously, EA, reduce the limit, reduce the amount, come on now. But yeah, I thought I was going to just sort of stop doing this altogether, but since coming back I've found my passion for it once again, and yeah, I feel great now. I didn't really enjoy that save as much anyway, because it just didn't seem like my sort of thing. I've said before, like, you know, I understand the appeal of things like face cam, but to me it's just not my sort of thing, you know. I feel way more comfortable. Ah, Laporte's had a stormer in this first half. I feel way more comfortable about it. I feel like I can create a much better type of video and type of series about it as well. There's less pressure on me, I feel. And yeah, I just feel it's more natural doing things like I used to do in the old days. It might be less trendy, but I certainly prefer it. Next question comes from TUE, and he says, how can Arsenal be fixed and who will do it well after last night? Maybe it can be Arteta. To be honest, like, the thing that surprised me about the criticism the Gunners have had this year is the fact that, I mean, the expectations on them weren't exactly sky high anyway. Like, nobody seriously expected them to be title contenders, and top four. 4th place would have been a fantastic achievement anyway. because the team is, you know, a shadow of the team that I remember back in the late 90s and the early noughties, such as the Invincible season. And the teams around that era, the Arsenal team around that era, I think I'm going to take off Rob Dickie as well. He's hobbling still, and I don't want to exacerbate that for when the new season comes around. You know, it's not the same team, and it's not a bad team. Don't get me wrong. It certainly shouldn't be where it is right now in the table. It should be higher than that, of course. But it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you know, when you look at the team, you got to remember it's becoming like a new identity. The Arsenal team. It's becoming a new look team. And obviously you've got a coach who is inexperienced and unproven in Arteta. It's his first senior role in management. I mean, I don't know why people are, like, I'm not going to say surprised, because again, it is still surprising how low they have been to start the season off. One of the... Oh my word, just can't get clear. Oh God. Not again. But yeah, you know, it's not like the most amazing of teams, so it shouldn't come as that much of a surprise they have struggled to start the season off. But also, it's going to take time for them to gel, you know. People... Oh my word! This is us all over, man. Seriously, we play some good football, but either the final ball is lacking or we just can't get that clear-cut chance. When we do, we don't take it. If there was ever a game to sum up our season, it's this one here. But yeah, it's going to take some time for them to gel. Again, you've got a new manager in charge, and the one thing I always point out with this as well is that there isn't really a leader in the Arsenal team at the moment. I don't see it, I really don't. And so when you are going through a struggling patch of form, that's when you need your leader to step up out there and get the boys feeling good about themselves. When a team goes into low confidence in a really bad stretch of form, you know, the players, and especially the younger players, Arsenal have a lot of young players, they need to look for a senior, experienced pro that's been through these sort of patches, knows how to get out of them, stop feeling sorry for themselves, and improve from that. Oh, why did you stop running, Max? You know, that's what Arsenal, I think, are lacking right now. And you look at it, Aubameyang and Lacazette, obviously Williams just come in, granted Xhaka has had experience with the armband too. I'm sorry, but those players are not the sort of players I'm thinking of. I look at the likes of Liverpool and the way that they've sort of assembled their team with Klopp in charge right now, and the players that I point out, Virgil van Dijk and Jordan Henderson, as the two leaders on the pitch, if you will. I know Van Dijk's, of course, got a serious injury, but two leaders on the pitch as well. But also, you know, James Milner, for me, what he brings to that team... Oh, Sterling's just done me in. But what James Milner brings to that team is more than versatility and hard work on the pitch. Oh, brilliant ball, it's two. Fantastic little ball inside. But that's what Milner brings to the Liverpool team. He's a seasons pro. He's been through it all. You know, who is Arsenal's James Milner? Like, who do you look at in that Arsenal team and say, that's the James Milner of this team? I don't see it. I don't see it. So who's the player out there when they go into these horrendous patches of form like they've had? And yes, I know they won last night, but anyway, who's that player? Who is that Milner that stands up and says, come on boys, stop feeling sorry for yourselves, let's sort this out. I've been through this, we can get through this, you know? I don't see that in the Arsenal team. And again, with the manager too, Arteta, this is his first stint in as a professional competitive manager at a senior level. It's going to take time for him to get the trust of his players and, you know, go through situations like this that eventually will help him in the long run. It's going to take time. So I think that, for me, I don't think Arsenal should be rash and look to sack Arteta and look to blow it up again. No, I think you've got to give these things time. You know, you can't create a legacy and a dynasty by chopping and changing players and, you know, staff. Oh, what a save by Edison. We've had chances today, just haven't taken them. You don't build a dynasty just by chopping and changing every few years. I think that, to me, is one of the reasons why modern football, I think, is losing its appeal on me. Just, I don't, you know, like dynasties, they're just not... Mate, other way around. Turn it the other way around, mate, you know. Turn it the other way around. This is his first day on the job, I think. You know, you don't get dynasties just by chopping and changing. So I think you know, it's going to take time for the Gunners to get things right. But give Arteta some time. Let the team gel and form chemistry with one another and evaluate things in a few years' time. And this is not unprecedented either, you know. You go back a few years ago, the 2015-2016 season. Let's bring on Ilias here. 2015-2016 season. You go back then. Think about it, Chelsea had this sort of start to the season. You know, I think it was coming around Christmas Day, and they were still like 15th, 16th place. Mate, turn it round. Someone whisper in his ear, turn the board round. You know, I think it was like Christmas Day or around that time, this time, about 4 years ago. Chelsea are in this sort of position, you know. It's not, you know, you go back about 10 years ago, you had the likes of Liverpool that were sometimes around mid-table around this time of the year, you know. It's not unprecedented. Give Arteta some time. Let his team gel together. bring in a proper leader, I think, for sure. And see how you look next year and maybe the year afterwards as well. Chopping and changing, short term, might stem the flow. It might paper up some cracks, but it's not going to give you long-term stability. Because when you go into the same position again, you set a precedent there when you can just go and do it all over again. It just doesn't build your long-term stability, not in my opinion anyway. So yeah, give Arteta some time, please. Oh man, I can't believe it. We've had chances today. That's the most frustrating thing. We've not been bad. We've had chances, just haven't taken them. I think the quality's shone through, I think, for City today. Next question comes from Tiaguitos, who says, who wins the NBA title and who's your MVP pick? I've got Doncic winning the MVP this year. Obviously back-to-back for Giannis the last 2 years. I don't think the NBA will give it to him a third straight year, regardless of how well he does. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, what's he doing for City? Is Herrera coming on? But yeah, I don't think that the NBA will give it to Giannis for 3 straight years, because they like to chop and change things, the NBA, when it comes down to the MVP pick. Otherwise, LeBron would have about 12 of them, 3-0. That's unfair on us. But yeah, so I got Doncic win the MVP this year, and as for the NBA title, I think the Lakers are going to run it back this year. They made a lot of changes to their team. I didn't think they needed to do it either. The likes of Dwight Howard and Danny Green moving on, they didn't need to make big changes. McGee going to the Cavs, but they have done so. They've got a bit younger, they've got a bit more athletic. There's less experience. But I think Marc Gasol's a fantastic pro, and I think they'll be okay. Despite, again, the absence of, again, Howard and Green and McGee and so on, I think they're, Bradley as well, I think they'll run it back this year. I got the Lakers winning it again. I was right last year. Saying the Lakers. I'm pretty sure I'll get it right this year as well. I've been right most of the time. I'm thinking about the last 4 or 5 years. Who have I got wrong? Oh, the Raptors winning. That was the one time I got it wrong. Anyway, next question comes from Apanega. I can't believe we're 3-0 down. This is just so disappointing. Like, honestly, where's our bloody leader? Seriously though, we hadn't even played that badly. Anyway, he says, ever thought of playing on PC with mods? As I alluded to at the start of the episode, I'd need a better PC for that, man. My Mac can barely run. I was trying to think of something, photo booth, So, yeah, I need a better system before I can do that. But I was seeing, there's, who's the guy? It's like he's like the modder of the FIFA community. I can't remember his name. It's like, I can't remember, man. I've not spoken to him before, but he seems like a really nice guy. But he's like known for doing like amazing FIFA mods, and I know some YouTubers have used his work. He's fantastic though, and I would definitely love to try out some of his stuff, but I need a better system for it before I could do that. But yeah, it does look really cool with the mods on PC, I must say. And Francisco says, what have you thought of FIFA 21 on PS5 so far compared to other FIFAs? It's not bad. I mean, to be honest, like, it's not that bad. I think I've mentioned before, for me, this era of the game, the video game series, is nothing like the older versions. And yes, I know nostalgia can sometimes cloud your judgment, but I truly do believe that the game as a series, that is a cracking ball by Nico. And that sums it up. Next season, QPR. Let's say we get a 40 million budget. I'm spending 39.5 million on a new striker. Oh, man. Tried to shift it onto his right boot. He's not got the highest of weak foot ratings. But man, City's defense, to be fair, has been fantastic in this game. But it's just been that sort of game. Chances created. Ah, that's a shocking ball. But gutted. Absolutely gutted. Let me have some good tea. Sorry, yeah, but anyway, Francisco. It's not been that bad. I did prefer the older FIFAs, I'll be honest. I think for me, my favourite era was probably like 11 to 14, 15. It was FIFA 16. Why am I even making a change? What's the point? But I'm just going to bring on Charlie for some minutes in the cup final, because I still believe in Charlie. Tough first season in top tier football. I'm going to loan him out next year. And yeah, he can play at Wembley for the first time. Actually, no, he wouldn't, because he did last year. But still, yeah, to me, like 11 to 15 was my favourite era, especially like 11 and 12. They were my 2 favourite FIFAs of all time, because it was a real sort of arcade way of playing the game. I was lethal from free kicks back in that era as well, believe it or not. Skilling was a lot more fun as well. I don't use skill moves like I used to. Oh, that's just pure unluck. What a save by Heaton to the nice Sterling, but either way, yeah, skilling is not as fun. It might actually, it's kind of ironic because like the player's movement now is more fluid than it used to be. You know, back then it was kind of like more robotic, but I still found skilling to be more fun. That's a shocking ball again. But now not as much. I think the era has changed a lot more, and since they tried to make it more of a realistic game, as I mentioned before, the problem with EA is they're trying to appeal to both parties, and trust me, if there's anyone that knows that that doesn't work, it's me. You can't appeal and please everyone. You either have to make a realistic simulation-based game, or you make it arcade again. Oh, well, consolation goal. It's not going to count because it's offside. If there was a game that sums up our season, it's this one. Wait, was he offside? Or did just the referee just blow for the full time? I'm going to assume he was offside. There's no way the referee would just mess us about like that. That would be the most cruel thing ever. But yeah, you can't. You know, you've either got to commit to making a realistic simulation-based game, or you make it arcade, streamlined, and fun. You can't do both. The problem with EA is they're trying to do both at the moment. They've made the game for the most part as realistic in the gameplay as they can get it by slowing it down and making it more pass and possession-based. But they're also including ridiculous flare goals getting scored from time to time, stupid little animations. Yeah, it's to me they need to have an overhaul and a rethink of how they operate with the gameplay. To be fair, but I don't think they will because again, there's too much money getting made right now from esports. But it's not that bad though, Francisco. I'll be honest, like it's not that bad at all. I think as far as FIFA goes, I've played some really poor ones over the past few years. 19, jeez. I mean, you know, there have been some really poor FIFAs. This is not as bad. It is improving. I think slowly but surely, it is improving. Dear, oh dear, unfair. I mean, I'll be honest here, this scoreline did not reflect the gameplay. I thought I actually played alright. It says the guy that lost 3-0. But honestly, I thought I played okay though. I thought I played okay. But if there was ever a game that summed up our problems this season, it was this one. Creativity, yeah, we had some good chances. Finishing, absolutely shocking. I think Bull probably had the best chance, firing straight at Edison. And that chance right towards the end of the game as well. And then Brobby running through one-on-one. My God, how do we not score at least once in this game? Next season, new striker, we need one. I need a clinical goal scorer, man. I got an idea for who I could bring in from a relegated team this year. But I need someone. I need someone. Evan, who is one of my longest term subscribers and followers ever, says, can't believe this guy is still with me, man, after all these years. If there's ever someone that makes me think, my word, I've got a loyal fan base, is this guy. He says, what's your favourite football memory? I've mentioned before, it's definitely 3-2 Millwall away at Bury a few years ago. God, I still can't get over the fact that Bury don't exist anymore. But yeah, I went to Bury, Gig Lane, 2-0 down. Absolutely freezing, almost saw that. Absolutely freezing. It's like mid to late November. It was a birthday treat for myself. I remember the following. It was the previous week. I went to watch us play Bolton away, and bloody hell, even Bolton almost didn't exist. Thankfully, I still do. But I can't. I was going to say I wanted to see if that was an offside moment, but. Did the referee blow for full time just to dick us over? Honestly, but yeah, I went to Bolton the week before and we lost. I think it was 1 or 2-0, and we were it was freezing, lumping balls up to Matt Smith. I think it was at the time. Maybe not Matt Smith. I can't remember now. But it was someone up top. Just long ball football. Awful game. And freezing my nuts off. Lost the game like a goal, 2-0 down. I thought, right, next week got Bury. I'm not sure if I'm even going to bother going, to be honest, because this was just rubbish. But obviously, I'd go anyway. And I go to the game with 2-0 down. I think, for God's sake, seriously, the atmosphere was really toxic in the away end, and then we just turn it round to win it 3-2. And I've mentioned it many times before. I'll leave a link to the highlights if you want to watch it in the description. But the last minute winner scored by Aidan O'Brien, no longer with us, now plays for Sunderland. Jumping into the away end, it was just hashtag scenes, as my good friend Ben would say, and it was amazing. Favourite football memory by far. And really enjoyed it. You know, I've got to say here, we didn't play badly at all, did we? This was a really unfair scoreline in my opinion. I really think we should have at least got a goal. And losing by 3 clear goals, that is really tough on us. But I think man of the match, none of the goal scorers or providers, the 2 centre-backs, Ruben Diaz, but also in particular, I'm surprised Laporte had a lower rating. Laporte was a monster in this game, particularly in the first half. Couldn't beat him. And yeah, they can share the champagne. as City come through with a very, I would say, very unconvincing 3-0 win. I thought we played just as good as them, just sadly didn't get the rub of the green, and importantly didn't take our chances. Summer transfer window, I ask you guys in the comment section right now, a new striker. Who do we bring in? Someone's got to get us goals. We were the league's lowest scorers this year. It can't happen again. If we ever want to win some silverware, and I mean some major honours in this save, we need a proper striker. Scout future start? No, I don't want to do it in this save, man. I want to keep it realistic. Andrew Holt says, actually, do you know what? Just before I answer your question, Andrew Holt, who says, what could the Premier League learn from the NBA and vice versa? You can have a quick swig of tea. Very nice indeed. Getting a bit cold now though. And yeah, he says, yeah, what could the Premier League learn from the NBA and vice versa? I think this is a really hard question to answer because they both do things really well from a business standpoint. But I'll tell you the one thing that the Premier League can learn from the NBA is this. Right now, they are like streamed. I should say that their deals are with like multiple different you know, cable companies and streaming services. Obviously Amazon Prime are now throwing their hat into the ring with the festive period football. You know, I think when, for me, like as an overseas NBA fan, as I mentioned before, I love the NBA so much. I have League Pass, and I've had it for the past few years now, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's brilliant. I pay, I think it's about 15, 16 quid a month, I think it works out to, which is, you know, relatively pricey just for one sport, don't get me wrong. But with NBA League Pass, I can literally watch any game, all the games, all the teams, and whenever I want, as replays, as highlights, condensed. You have the different broadcast presenters. So, for example, if you're like a fan of a specific team from the NBA, let's say you're like a Wizards fan, for example, you can watch the Wizards play. Like even if they're away against like the Clippers, for example, you can still watch the Wizards broadcast. The national broadcast packages for the games are on national TV. You know, it's fantastic. And again, as an overseas watcher, the time zones are the biggest problem for me. Yeah, it's not a problem when I can just, you know, watch the game the next day and hide the scores. I don't know what happened, and it cuts out the timeout sequences, so it's a more streamlined version of the game. It's fantastic, it really is. And I think with the Premier League as well, one of the reasons why a lot of people don't sign up to watch them on Sky Sports or whatever is because, you know, not all the games are on there. Like I said, they share the games, you know, and again, not all games are going to get broadcast because obviously with English football, you don't have that. Like 3 PM, for example, TV companies aren't allowed to broadcast 3 PM games. That's why the final score and soccer specials do really, really well. You know, so by the way, to end the episode off, what we're going to do is go through the score one final time, and yeah, that would do it, as well as find out Champions League and Europa League winners. But yeah, I think with the Premier League, they should have a service like that. They should have a service where it's like the Premier League pass, and obviously it would have to be more expensive than the NBA League pass because of the difficulty of it. But where every single team gets followed, you know. Oh, so gutted about Bogarty. He started off well, but it's gone down 3 ratings now. Might have to cash in next season. But yeah, I really do think that would be a great thing for the Premier League to do. You know, where every team gets their game televised and you can watch it in the broadcast. So I think that would be fantastic, especially for overseas fans as well. You know, the Premier League, I would imagine, like, you know, the midday games in America are going to start like, what, is that like 7 in the morning? Like, you know, unless you're like a massive fan to a point where you can't miss a game, you're probably not going to get up just to watch that, you know, at 7 in the morning. But I think having like a League Pass kind of streaming kind of service for fans, especially overseas fans, would be absolutely superb. Oh, the Bull this year, man, seriously. +7, 74 rated. He's now got the 5-star skill moves. His wide playmaker development plan should have finished by now, but it's not. I have to say, next year I am thinking phasing him into the middle. He's got the pace, and he's seen this year he's great on the left-hand side, but I am starting to think possibly with the short pass rating and the dribbling as well, I wouldn't be against him playing through the middle next year. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think that's one thing that the Premier League can learn from the NBA, because as an overseas NBA watcher, like, I'm like literally League Pass rescues me. Without it, I'd be literally lost. And as for, do we bring back a Mecha next year? I don't think so. 4 goals in 22 in the Premier League. 6 in 24 in all competitions, but I don't think so. I think his wage is so high at Man City as well. 70 grand a week at Man City. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bring him back next year. But yeah, sorry, I think the Premier League can learn from League Pass in the NBA. As the NBA learned from the Premier League, well, this is one thing that really gets on my goat. And honestly, like, I know a lot of people are going to laugh at me, especially my American fans. You're going to be sitting there thinking, come on, it's not that bad. But it is to me. It really, really grinds my gears. When you advertise a game starting at a specific time, start the game at that time. It really gets on my nerves. As Tarat and Dickey only got 5-day injuries in the end, thankfully not serious injuries that will carry over to next season, but do you know how annoying it is? Like, seriously, you go on like to the NBA and you find out that the game's going to start at midnight and you think, do you know what, it's a Friday night, I'm going to stay up and watch it, you know, and the game doesn't start until like 20 past 12 in the morning. Why? Like, it says it starts at midnight. You know, in football here in Europe and obviously in England as well, if you advertise a Premier League game between Manchester United and Chelsea starts off and kicks off at 8 p.m, dead on 8 p.m, the referee checks his watch and the ball gets kicked and the game begins. In America, and it really irritates me because there's a lack of consistency with it. It was Foster that wanted a pro deal, and he's got 60 overalls, he can check his potential now as well. But in America, it really annoys me because it's really inconsistent. Like, sometimes a game will say, oh, it's going to start at, you know, I don't know, 1 a.m, for example, our time here in the UK. So, you know, back when I was more obsessed with it, I would stay up to watch most of the games, especially the playoff games. I never miss a playoff game. It starts at 1 in the morning, so I'd say, okay, fine, I'll have a nap, and I'll wake up at around 5 to 1, I'll get ready for the game. And I'll wake up and I'm bleary-eyed, and it's just, you know, I'm really, really tired. And the game doesn't, you know, and the players are still in their warm-ups, forced to show his great potential. It could be right in the future, to be fair, with 4-star skill moves as well. You know, and the players are still in their warm-ups, so they're not even on the court. It really, really grinds my gears. And then it gets the lack of consistency with it, because sometimes, like, I'll be getting back from the gym, like, when I live in the city centre, like, quite late at night, and the game is going to tip off at, like, midnight. It's like I don't know, an Eastern Conference playoff game 3 between the Cavs and the Pacers or whatever. It says the game's going to, you know, start at midnight, and I'm at the gym, and I'm leaving at, like, 11:30. I'm thinking, I've got plenty of time, I'll make it back on time. Maybe I'll miss the first 5 minutes, who knows. And I'll get back at about 20 past, you know, 20 past midnight, perhaps, for example, and I'm thinking, well, the game's probably just tipped off because of the way the NBA does things, you know, by starting games later than they advertise, and I've missed the first quarter, and it's like, just be consistent with it, you know. It really, really irritates me. And I know it's a really stupid thing to get on your goat about, but it's true. If you advertise a game to start at a specific time, start the game at that time. I don't understand why it's so hard to do that, man. And I don't know why they do it either. I've got a theory it's because that they want to get as many people in to watch the pre-game show as possible so they can justify the amount of money they pay their analysts. But to me, it just gets on my nerves. I mean, if you say you're starting something at a specific time, start at that time. Don't keep me waiting. And be consistent as well. You know, don't start 20 minutes later one day and then start dead on time the next, because you're going to catch me out. I think I've got like 10-15 minutes of nothing to watch, and I'll turn on at 1:15 midnight, and I've missed most of the first quarter. So bloody annoying. Anyway, sorry, right, I'm going to show you the Champions League, Europa League winners as well, the other leagues too, and we'll just quickly run through our final squad as well. So for next season, we'll be ending this season with this team. A couple of players are leaving on freeze, a couple of players are going to retire, Adoma and Heaton are retiring, and Metch is going back to Man City on loan from his loan spell, but you know, for next season, even though our 2 centre-halves are the lowest rated in this team alongside Charles Bull and the goalkeeper too, defensively, despite the 3-0 loss there, we didn't do too badly this season. For me, it's definitely here. This is where we need improvement. We need an out-and-out goal scorer next season. Who we get, I don't know. Any suggestions, leave them in the comments, but definitely we need a new striker next year. Brobby is only 18 years old. No, he's not. He's 20 now. Bloody hell, he gets on a bit. 20 years old. I thought he was 18 when he brought him in. He's gone 2 years. He's gone 2 years older in 1 year. But yeah, we need an out-and-out goal scorer next year for sure, man. No doubt about it. But oh man. Sorry, what was I saying there? Yeah, anyway, Adoma and Heaton are retiring, so they'll be leaving. 1 or 2 players are leaving on freeze, but I don't know who they are. I can't remember now. I think it might be Duke McKenna, perhaps. Or maybe no one is. Oh, I can't remember. We'll figure it out together at the start of the new season. And yeah, let's do the Champions League and the Europa League winners, and we'll look to end it there. I've got some scouting I've been doing as well for next season too from relegated teams. I'm going to show you some of the players we're thinking about the next season. Now, all these players are from relegated teams. I'll answer any questions we're going through here. User 36735644484 original says, "Are you financially stable and living in a better place now compared to the first lockdown?" A bit better. A bit better. Without support from my audience, I'd have absolutely no chance. So I'm literally surviving because of audience support right now. But it is a little bit better. Things have picked up a little bit, but the past 2 months in particular were really, really tough for me. But again, without your support, I'd have absolutely no chance. Next question comes from Alex, who says, "Thoughts on Chelsea this year and the future, and favourite youngster from the team?" Well, obviously, I'm big on quite a few of the youngsters they've got, really. But I think it's been good to see how Lampard has transitioned so quickly from Championship manager with Derby to managing in a top-tier league in Europe, and also the Champions League as well. That's been really, really cool. Brooks out of contract next season, wouldn't be against getting him in. That's been really, really cool, seeing how well he's done. And I like the future for Chelsea. I really, really do. I think they've got a really bright future. And again, as I mentioned earlier, talking about Arteta with Arsenal, you got to make sure you get a manager time. Chelsea have got a very, very, very damning history in recent years of chopping and changing managers after some bad patches of bad spells of form, bad patches in quick times, and they'll quickly chop and change the manager. I hope that with Lampard being a club legend, the way he started off, despite being a relatively inexperienced and a new manager, I hope they give him a lot of time to build a dynasty there at Stamford Bridge. I'd love to see them win a trophy this year. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but I think it'll be fantastic if they do. And I've got a lot of our best friend is a Chelsea fan, loves Chelsea, goes away quite often. Well, when the fans are allowed back in, I'm sure he'll start going again. I've got a lot of belief in a good future for Chelsea, and I think they'll do really well, so long as, again, they allow their team to gel, and they keep the manager in charge as well. That's really, really important. Don't keep changing things. Anyway, real briefly, this is the guy I'm thinking of bringing in for next season, if we've got the money to do so. Myron Boadu of West Bromwich Albion. If you've seen some of my my time-based challenges that I started in FIFA 21 this year, I signed this guy in several of them. He looks like he could be the answer to our problems, man. I'm going to pop him on the shortlist. Exciting prospect, already 80 rated at just 21 years old. The key stats being all about the agile and pace, and we know we like that pace. 85 finishing, 84 reactions, 84 ball control. There is not a downside to this young man, who is only going to get better at 6 foot as well. With West Brom going down, I think it'll be a realistic sign of player that's going into the Championship has enough ability to play top-tier football. I've got to say, if we get given the financial backing from the board, I think he's the guy I'll be going after. I'd love to bring him in. And Cree Lowry says, "Who are your favourite artists you're listening to right now?" Right now, I mean, I tend to listen to mostly rap, although I do tend to also listen to other genres as well. I'm going to show you my shortlist as well before we end today's episode off and look at the Europa League and Champions League winners. I listen to a lot of rap. I thought 21 Savage and Offset's album this year, Savage Mode 2, was fantastic. You know, I'd love to bring Ben Foster in for next season as a veteran. Heaton's retiring. Heaton's retiring as well. I might bring him in. It'll probably cost about $1.5 million probably to bring him in. I'd love to bring Ben Foster in for next season as a veteran. Have we got enough money to do that? We do. We've got tons in the wage budget as well. I'm going to make a signing to end today's episode off. We signed Heaton last year before the end of the season. I'm going to bring in Foster for next season. With Tom retiring, I'm going to bring in the cycling GK for next year as our backup goalkeeper. I love his traits. And I love Ben Foster. He's such a great goalkeeper and a really nice guy as well. Let's bring him in. But yeah, I thought Savage Mode 2 was a great album. I listened to the Weeknd's album this year. It's probably one of my favourite albums of all time, After Hours. Absolutely fantastic. To go to the other side of genres, Taylor Swift's recent album was really good as well. I like that a lot. Champagne Problems was a really sad song, but very good indeed. But I've really started listening to a lot of aggressive rap this year. It's very good for the gym. So 21 Savage's album was great. 1.5 mil. And I've also been listening to quite a lot of Young Thug recently as well. I know I don't sound like a rap music fan, but I really do like it. But I listened to Young Thug's work recently, and Gunna's album, was it Wanna? Was that out this year? I think it was. Really, really good as well. And how much were we offering contract-wise? Oh, I could spare 30 grand a week for a seasoned pro like Foster. Yeah, but those are the artists I've listened to quite a lot this year. Ari's album this year was fantastic as well. Really, really good. I still haven't watched the documentary yet on Netflix. I'm really looking forward to that. But Ari's like an alpha female, so I love listening to her music. And yeah, Positions and Nasty off her recent album were absolute certified bops. Really, really good indeed. Right, let's bring in... sorry, just real briefly, I want to make this signing before we... Oh, Ben wants to be a starting goalkeeper here. Not sure it's going to happen, but I'll give it to him anyway. He's only going to be here for a year, but still. Yeah, we'll quickly make this signing, and then we'll... yeah, we'll... should we have him on a 1-year deal or 2-year deal? What do you guys think? 1 year or 2 year? I wouldn't be against Foster playing till he's 40. Yeah, I think well, if you give him a 1-year deal, then that will definitely be him into retirement. Nah, pro, he wants to stay on the cycling GK. He can transition to a vlogger, a full-time vlogger in that time, and become part of our goalkeeping coaching staff as well. So yeah, just real briefly a couple of questions before we end today's episode off. What's he on? 27.5 grand a week. Ah, would he be willing to take a pay cut? I've got plenty of time to negotiate again with him, to be fair. So if this deal falls through, I can do it off camera. It's not a problem. But let's see if he's willing to take a pay cut. As Saint Shaq says, favourite FM save that you've done. As much as I love my Norwich save last year, hey, there we go, 25 grand a week. I'll take that pay cut for Ben. And it'll become our goalkeeping player coach as well. That's great. Favourite FM save you've done. I loved my Norwich save last year, but it would still be the Cardiff save with the alpha male Jason. And Luke Porter says, what's been the best and worst thing about 2020 for you? Great question there to possibly end on. Best thing about the year for me is not to get too personal, but I think just how badass I've been able to manage withdrawing from drugs. Like, honestly, that's been pretty amazing to me. I thought that I was going to really struggle with it. Like, I was a daily stoner. I used to do quite a lot of coke as well. But I have been drug-free for over a year now, and I never thought I'd be able to pull it off. I never, after so many years, I thought there's no way I'm ever going to be able to do this. But I'm really, as Juve win the Europa League, beating Ajax in the final, I'm really proud of myself. I'm not proud of myself for many things. I normally look at myself in a very negative light. But to handle this the way I've handled it, it's been pretty bloody badass, to be honest. I've been very proud of that. It's been the best thing, you know, being able to go for a whole full calendar year with no drugs whatsoever. I've never done that. Well, I say obviously, I wasn't snorting coke off my mum's tits at 4, but no. As an adult, I've never done that, and to be able to do it for the whole calendar year as Atletico win the Champions League 3-0 over Messi's Barca in the final. Wow, fair play to Simeone's lads. I think that's been a pretty amazing achievement for me, so I've been very proud of myself for that. The worst thing about the year, though, has just been how much struggle it's been for everyone. I mean, honestly, it's just been such a tough year for everyone. No one has had a good year this year, it seems. Apart from, you know, people in Amazon, people that work for Amazon, you know, Jeff Bezos is loving it, man. I said to my friend, like, when the lockdown happened, like, no one was going to do well. Every single one of us, you know, we all experienced hardship, be it professionally or personally. But the people that thrived were those that are e-commerce. You know, those were the ones that were going to do so well. Amazon were like, lock us down longer. We love this. People keep coming back to us because, of course, they can't get out and go shopping and buy, you know, cheap tat and clothes and whatever. So they're just buying it off of us, you know. They're the only ones that did well. But yeah, to be honest, I think that's been the worst thing of the year for me. Just how much everyone's struggling. It's been really hard seeing people struggle mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. It's been a real year of struggle due to the pandemic, and no one's been safe from it, you know. I got, like, a lot of people would sort of, not necessarily make fun of me or anything, but they would often, like, you know, act as though I was going to be doing well because of this, because I'm used to working from home now, doing it for quite a few years, you know, because, again, my job is, you know, sort of online based. People were like, oh yeah, you'll be doing all right then, but I was like, no, I'm also experiencing a big loss because of this, financially and also emotionally as well. And it's like, yeah, it's been a tough year for everyone, really. and it's been the worst thing about it. It's been a year of struggle for almost everyone, and I just hope and fingers crossed 2021 is going to be far better, and I believe it will as well. I really do believe that. So we're going to leave it there on the back of that Europa League and Champions League show. I'll show you who's coming up from the Championship for next year, but again, this might change due to how ridiculous the leagues are, as we know. But the Championship this year was won by Fulham. Sheffield United are coming back to the Premier League, so two teams that are relegated, and possibly Aston Villa as well, who will go into the playoffs alongside Derby, Norwich and Cardiff. Unfortunately, there is no Championship playoff league tables. I can't show you who's going there. I'll do some top tier leagues and then we'll end it there, and I'll answer one more question as well, possibly. Do you know what? Actually, I'm going to ask you. Do you know what I'm going to do? Just to end the episode instead of the questions, what I'm going to do here is going to ask you guys to give me your New Year's resolutions for 2021. Very fitting with the last question we answered there, as PSG win Ligue 1 this year, shock horror. Here's a question for you guys to end today's episode off, and also to prove you've been watching all the way through. I used to do this back in my old live commentary as well. To see who made it to the end, I'll ask you guys to comment something, I'll answer a question. Here's my question to you guys that stayed all the way to the end. What are your New Year's resolutions for 2021? And how are you going to try and achieve those? So 2021, what are you planning to do? What are you hoping to do? Let me know in the comment section down below what your resolutions are for what will hopefully be a much better year for everyone. Let me know in the comment section down below what New Year's resolutions you've got, and yeah, tell me what they are, and hopefully we'll be able to achieve them for next year as well. I've got some New Year's resolutions. I'll give you a couple whilst I'm going through this here. First one is a big one, but it's learn to drive. I still can't drive, and I got my provisional license in the post last month. I would love to learn to drive. I've been very, very scared of doing it. I don't know if it's because of trauma due to a car crash I had when I was younger, but I'm very scared of driving. It really does terrify me, the thought of getting behind a wheel. I have driven before, to be fair, in a field. Long story. but to actually drive on a road like with other cars, like even the thought of it in my mind is giving me anxiety right now. I would love to learn to drive. That is a resolution of mine, and I want to try and conquer a fear like that. So that's a resolution of mine. I'll give you a couple more as well. I also want to start taking more steps to combat my depression, as Ajax won the Eredivisie undefeated this year. For too long I've sort of just allowed it to become a character sort of trait of mine, you know, just being really miserable. I have done a good job of becoming more positive thinking and optimistic, but I still know that it is a real problem for me still at this age of 28. Ugh, God. So yeah, I do feel like I need to take more steps to combat it instead of just sort of living with it and putting up with it. I'm very good at putting up with things, but not very good at taking action on things, and that needs to change at the end of the day. Like, it's not enough for me to say, oh, I can just live with it. It's not fair on the people around me. It's not fair on my friends and family. Most importantly, it's not fair on me. I deserve better than that. So I need to take more steps to combat it, whether that means start taking antidepressants again like I used to. I've never actually like done proper therapy before. I've had like specific, oh wow, Rangers won the SPL. Whoa! That's the first time I've seen that in FIFA in years. Oh my word, it's every single time I go to the other league, Celtic would win it. This is the first time it's been Rangers. Is that a premonition for what might happen this year with Rangers several points clear at top of the table in real life? Who knows? But wow, that's the first time I've seen that. But yeah, I've been recommended to start going to proper therapy. I'm definitely considering that next year, because I do need to start taking more steps to try and beat it. I'll give you one more as well. I'm aiming to get back into the gym 5 times a week as well. I started to take care of my body better this year, and to work on my body a lot more. And I was starting to lift my heaviest I'd ever lifted before. The heaviest I used to be able to lift was back in like 2015, 2016. And this year, when the gyms reopened again after lockdown, I was able to start hitting those again. The heaviest I've lifted for bicep and hammer curl is 20 kg. And actually, no, to be fair, I was 18 kg this year in the gym, bicep hammer curl. I was 20 kg back in like 2016. But when I say I was lifting to failure after like 3 or 4 reps. But yeah, I do want to start getting back into the gym again 4 or 5 times a week. I haven't really done anything over the past month at all, apart from home workouts. So I'd like to go back into the gym, get a better body again, start feeling better about myself again. Because when you do look good, you do feel good naturally. So I think that's something I'd like to do as well. But those are my New Year's resolutions. But in the comment section down below, tell me what yours are. Let me know what you're planning to do for 2021. And I do believe next year we can have a much better year together. I'm really sure of that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the season 2 as a whole and the season finale. It's a shame it ends on a sour note. It still doesn't take away from a great debut season in the top flight, getting to an FA Cup final and surviving in the Premier League as well. But here's a comment as well for you guys that stayed to the end. Please comment as you stayed all the way to the end. Please just comment, get a bloody striker, Docs. Just keep commenting it, because I need everyone to tell me to get a bloody striker. So comment down below, get a bloody striker, Docs, so I know how many of you guys have stayed to the end of the episode. And yeah, thank you for watching season 2, guys. It's been a fantastic first season of the top flight. I'm looking forward to season 3, and thank you for all supporting the series so far. Much love, guys, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon, where we will begin our second season in the top flight, season 3 at the Kind Prince Foundation Stadium. Much love, and I'll see you for the season opener very soon.